story of the Mountain of Mercy and Victory is not just the story of a place, it is the story of obedience, sacrifice, and a shared calling. It began in 2014 when God gave a clear instruction, not to one person alone, but to Apostle Paul Wahid and prophetess Shekinah Ego Asafa. At the time, there was nothing visible to support what God was saying. No structure, no crowd, no resources. But they received the instruction together. They were both seeking the face of God, praying, waiting, and asking for direction. And in that place of seeking, God spoke clearly to them to go and take the land. The land they were led to was quiet, empty, and undeveloped. By natural standards, it looked insignificant, but they saw beyond what was visible. With faith and conviction, together they took the first step. They acquired the first plot of land. It was not convenient, but they moved forward in obedience. As the burden of the vision grew stronger, they went further, together to secure a second plot, and then a third plot of land. Each step was taken in unity. Each step was a response to divine leading. What started small was already becoming something greater in the spirit. On that land, they began the work of consecration through prayers, fasting, and consistent spiritual exercises. There was no comfort in those early days. A small temporary shelter was all they had. No electricity, no proper seating, sometimes exposed to the weather. Yet they remained steadfast. Together they prayed. Together they gathered people. Together they built the atmosphere. And slowly, the ground began to respond. Then came a defining moment. One day, Apostle Paul Wahid and prophetess Shekinah came to visit the site. From a distance, they saw two figures clothed in yellow and blue garments. When they got closer, those figures disappeared. And by divine understanding, it was made clear. Yellow means victory, blue means mercy. And from that revelation, the name of the land was established. The Mountain of Mercy and Victory. That name became their identity. That name became their message. Apostle Paul Wahid received another revelation in a dream. He saw water gushing out from the ground and people gathering around it. As the water touched them, they were healed. They were restored. He shared the revelation, and together they held on to that word. When it was time to act, they moved in unity, beginning the process of digging a borehole. The first attempt failed. Resources were spent, effort was made, but no water came out. It was a discouraging moment, but God spoke again. In another revelation, clear instruction was given to Apostle Paul Wahid. Dig at the exact place I showed you. They obeyed, and when they dug again, the water came, not just as a physical supply, but as a sign, a confirmation, a manifestation of God's promise. From that moment, testimonies began to rise. Healings, deliverance, restoration, and more people began to come. As the work continued, there arose a need for a central place of spiritual engagement. And then came another divine moment. Apostle Paul Wahid received a dream. He saw an altar descending from heaven. It was clear. It was intentional. It was not man-made. When he shared this, they understood the instruction. And in obedience, the altar was established. That altar became the heart of the mountain, a place where people come to pray, to seek God, and to experience testimonies. On that altar, lives have been touched, burdens have been lifted, answers have been received. And upon that altar, both Apostle Paul Wahid and prophetess Shekinah Ego Asafa stand, ministering, praying, and guiding people through their moments of need. Over time, the testimonies increased. Lives were changed. Destinies were restored. As the mountain grew, prophetess Shekinah Ego Asafa carried a deeper burden, especially for women and families. Out of that burden came Vision 45 Global Outreach, a ministry focused on restoration, empowerment, and spiritual growth. She also leads the King's Mother Prayer Summit, raising intercessors and strengthening women in their walk with God. These expressions do not stand apart from the mountain. They flow from the same vision, one calling, one assignment, expressed through both of them. Through the years, the mountain has grown, from a simple beginning into a recognized ground of prayer and divine encounter. Structures have improved. Access has become easier. But the heart of the mountain has never changed. Prayer, intercession, deliverance, and the presence of God. Today, people come from different places, seeking help, healing, direction, and restoration. And just as it was from the beginning, the mountain still stands as a place where mercy speaks and victory is assured. For over 12 years, this work has been sustained, not by human strength, but by obedience, sacrifice, and a united commitment to God's call. Together, Apostle Paul Wahid and Prophetess Shekinah Ego Asafa continue to lead, to serve, and to preserve the vision. The Mountain of Mercy and Victory, a testimony of what God can do when two people say yes and walk the journey together. Today, join us as we celebrate 12 years anniversary of God's grace, mercy, and victory on this mountain.